Our Secretary of Warmongering, Pete Hegseth, is breaking news today for carrying out a Donald Trump order of retribution, while at the same time an Army general has kicked the former National Guardsman right in his foxhole, and I have all the military mayhem for you next. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats video. To get all of our reports on the lawless activities of Pentagon Pete, the draft-dodging Trump, and their cabal of chaos, please hit that subscribe button. Let's begin with Hegseth taking action on one of Trump's archenemies, as reported by the always breaking news Aaron Parnas, and then I'll have the bomb the general dropped on the former Weekend Fox and Friends host, who is now somehow in command of the world's most powerful military.
We have some news right now. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, has censured Senator Mark Kelly, docked his retirement grade, and docked his pay in a new announcement made onto Hegseth's Twitter. Hegseth says that the, quote, Secretary of War has issued a formal letter of censure, which outlines the totality of Captain, for now, Kelly's reckless misconduct. He's going to try to dock Mark Kelly from being a captain in the military. He also says that the department has initiated grade determination with reduction in his retired grade, resulting in a correspondent reduction in retired pay. This is because Mark Kelly participated in the video telling essentially military service members to just follow their oaths and not follow illegal orders. And now Hegseth is retaliating against Senator Kelly for doing so.
Did you happen to notice that their action is way short of the treason, sedition, and court-martial Trump and Hegseth previously threatened? If so, you're not alone. Others have noticed too.
Raw Story said, Pete Hegseth caves on Mark Kelly court-martial threat. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth suggested he was backing down from his threat to court-martial Mark Kelly and would instead seek to reduce his retirement pay. Former Marine and political publisher Ron Filipkowski posted, Hegseth didn't have the courage to give Mark Kelly a trial by court-martial because he knew he would lose it and be humiliated. So he is taking the cowardly way out. Whatever action he takes unilaterally will discredit U.S. military civilian leadership and be reversed in 3 years. Political analyst Larry Sabato said, Senator Mark Kelly could ride this horse right into the White House, courtesy of Trump's unquenchable thirst for retribution. And retired intel officer Travis Akers commented, the actions taken against Senator Mark Kelly by Secretary Hegseth are nothing short of an authoritarian exercise contrary to the values of our Constitution and liberties Captain Kelly defended during his decorated and honorable career. I stand in solidarity with Captain Mark Kelly.
And speaking of retired officers speaking out, that brings us to a general bombing Hegseth today, as reported by The Guardian.
The headline reads, Trump push to politicize U.S. military reminiscent of Stalin. Top general warns Major General Paul Eaton says U.S. president's effort to bend military to his will could have dire long-term consequences. Donald Trump and his defense secretary Pete Hegseth are mounting an aggressive push to politicize the top ranks of the U.S. military, a push that smacks of Stalinism and could take years to repair, the former infantry chief who trained troops to invade Iraq has warned. Major General Paul Eaton has sounded the alarm, saying in an interview with The Guardian that the effort to bend the higher echelons of the military to the U.S. president's will was unparalleled in recent history and could have long-term dire consequences. He warned that both the reputation and efficiency of the world's most powerful fighting force was in the balance. There is an active effort to politicize the armed forces, Eaton said. Once you infect the body, the cure may be very difficult and painful for presidents downstream. In Eaton's analysis, Trump's first step towards compromising military independence was the act of appointing Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. The former Fox and Friends host had been an advisor to Trump and had supported his first presidential run in 2016. Hegseth not only swears loyalty to Trump, he swears fealty to Trump, whereas the military swears an oath to the Constitution, Eaton said. Soon after Hegseth was ensconced in the Pentagon, the firings began. Within a week of Trump's inauguration, the military inspector general, who acted as an independent watchdog, was dismissed, followed by the top military lawyers, judge advocates general, who advise on the laws of armed conflict. Eaton said the effect reminded him of Joseph Stalin's 1940s purges of the top officers in Soviet forces. Stalin killed a lot of the best and brightest of the military leadership and then inserted political commissars into the units. The doubt that swept the armed forces of the Soviet Union is reminiscent of today. They are not killing these men and women, but they are removing them from positions of authority with similar impact. The end result, Eaton said, was that you've got a 1940s Stalin problem inside the American military right now.
Hegseth is an interesting character, mostly because he lacks character. Like Trump, he has a sketchy past and is full of hubris. Upon entering the Pentagon, he rebranded soldiers as war fighters and rebranded himself as the Secretary of War. And like Trump, all of that reeks of trying too hard to be a tough guy. But when his time comes, we'll see how tough he is. And that's because as he stays busy acting on Trump's impulses, he's leaving a trail of receipts with lawless orders and war crimes written all over them. I'm not sure if Trump will be around long enough to see a day when Democrats are in power again, but Pentagon Pete will, and those receipts will find him like heat-seeking missiles.